see the First Lady, but I can see the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, sitting next to him on his left, and you can see Julius Deborah also in his black smock there, and a few other ministers of state are seated there, and you can see the president. So the president has arrived at the grounds now, and I'm sure it wouldn't be long. The king will arrive at the grounds also. It wouldn't be long. He will also arrive at the ground. The Ashanti regional minister is also sitting on that line, and a number of ministers of state have also arrived there. So the president is there, and you are making the point as to why the Asante kingdom and the king is accorded so much respect.
So, at its greatest expanse, the Asante Empire, spanned more than even what we know to be, the nation of Ghana to this day. And when you say Ohene, there are some, my background is in linguistics. Some people say, Ohene comes from Nehoya Hene, right? It means that when they first came, they knew all of the boundaries. That's where you get Odishie. So Eshe being the boundary. So this is the possessor of all of the boundaries. And when you go to the fullest extent of the Asante, then you'll see, the full, massive nature of what the Asante Empire, came to be. And then also, through war, right? So you'll have certain, histories that are recounted in terms of, you had Jamang, right? So this is the history of how Adinkra came to Asante, so that the Jamang Hene said that, or there were those around him who said, there shouldn't only be one golden stool. You should have a golden stool. That, of course, caused the conflict, and then it drove the people of Jamang to what's now modern-day Côte d'Ivoire. So through, these types of conflicts, through expanse, then it came to be understood that Ukumapima Apimbeba, that this is a force to be reckoned with. When you see, the millions and millions of people, even to this day, like when you travel outside, like I'll go to Burkina Faso, someone says, here's the Ghana community, people are speaking Twi. Same thing in Mali, people are speaking Twi. In the US, you'll go to the Ghana Maya Association and people are speaking Twi. That, just the massive nature of, Asante, and then the degree to which they still have a respect for, their culture. What you see right here is a respect for culture. And even if we look at the role of the Queen Mother, as the foundation upon which the stool rests, you understand? This is something that you'll see for Black people. There's a noted historian, Mamsir Anta Diop, the major university in Senegal is named after him, where he talked about domains of matriarchy and patriarchy and said that we as Black people, we have this, matriarchy, system. So even if you go to classical Nyani, what they call Mali, you have Mansa Musa. In his testimony to Al-Omari, he said that he came to be the ruler because his uncle, his matrilineal uncle, decided to travel across the ocean, that we now know as the Atlantic Ocean. And when he didn't come back, that's how he came to rule. What he's actually recounting is this same matrilineage where it's the Wafa that you are inheriting from. You'll find the same thing again going back to classical Kemet. We're talking about 5,000 years ago, where even the symbol of the rulership is the throne of the woman. It means that if you're not the child of a woman, or married to the woman, or some relationship to the woman, because that is the foundation of the entire lineage, the only thing that gives you the right to rule. And in the case of Asante, it's Oyoko, which is represented by, the falcon. Now, if you look at the father's line, you have Bosomru. Most people just know Bosomru as a title that was given to the late Kofi Annan, but Bosomru is one of the 12 Ntro. So Ntro is what's to the male is what a Busian is to the female. So whereas you have these 8 matriclans, including Asenia, Agona, Asona, Asechiri, Ayokwo, Brituo, Ekwana, and Adriana. So you have those 8. But now on the father's side, you have everyone is descended from a specific body of water. So this one is for the blood, that is what makes up your body. Now this side is the water and the spirit that makes you up. So you have Bosompra, you have Bosomchi, you have Bosomafram, you have Bosomru. And of course for any Asantehene, he has to be Bosomru line, father, and then it has to be Oyoko line, mother, before you can even qualify of the two coming together to be Asantehene.
That's very detailed. That's very detailed.
Yes, that is. But right on the grounds, Ms. Bao, I just saw something, and I don't know if you could speak to it. Now we see a number of people coming in, and there's one man dressed in something like a war cloth, carrying something I could not necessarily see.
Some leaves on
with a lot of people around them. Now, when there's a funeral in the Asante Kingdom, there's a saying, Aswashaba, Enibriaba. Is that the reason war songs are sung during funerals? Before you answer that, can you speak to that video that I just described?
So when you see them carrying, usually it's headbands that may have medicine inside of it, that before even, Otumfuo came to be, so prominent, you had Otumfuo, each one was tied to a specific family. So when you'll see them carrying the brass bands, usually it's related to the Obosom, and when they're carrying it, it means that they've become possessed by the spirit of their specific family. So when you'll see that, that is what you can understand it to be. Usually they'll use like ninya, which is a type of leaf that they'll put around their necks. So all of these are symbols that have, a deep significance in terms of, just as you're mentioning, the war songs. Part of it is to, recount the history, right? So every single time that, there was a war, every single time that there was a major event, then those things are recorded orally, in the songs. So, there's not a possibility for these ideas to just, get lost when you're able to, recount them periodically at occasions such as this. So in past times, a lot of those histories would also be played on the atumpan, which you can see right here. So they say that in previous times, if someone made a mistake on the atumpan, they could be taken out of here.
Right.
So that's just the knowledge. So you have Odumakuma Boadia, Bodia Ben, Seng, Chirema. A Seng is a court crier, and then Ochirema is the one who represents knowledge, right? So what he's recounting, he will go through the entire history of Asante, from Osei Tutu going all the way to Otumfuo himself in this very day, the second Osei Tutu. And again, that loops back around to what we originally started with, that again, the human being is seen as a living son. And here we see Otumfuo himself, who is coming to join what is happening here. So this is his elder sister, who has passed away. But again, as we mentioned, that the passing is different from the death as it may be understood in English or, non-Black cultures, that we understand this as a tradition. That and in this tradition, it's a transition to the ancestral realm.
Right. Now, there's also one, I don't know if it's a myth or if it's something that really happens. So, there's usually a curfew around this time, that after a certain time, nobody's supposed to be out, which we've already seen that in some parts, in fact, in all parts of all parts of Kumasi, people are indoor, nobody is coming out to do anything. Now, there's this belief that if you're caught after that time, you're either slaughtered and then your head is being buried together with the Queen Mother. How true is that? So
you have the Abrafo, you have the Otumfuo. In previous times, like the contemporary understanding of death is, quite different. In previous times, people would clamor in order to join the Asantehemaa or the, Otumfuo who had passed away, because the idea is that in Asaman people to serve.
And just before you continue, just about the scenes we are seeing on our screens now, the king is arriving at the burial grounds, and you could see the crowd cheering. This is a very solemn moment, but he's still getting the cheers, he's extending the pleasantries, and it's a very, very strong atmosphere. This charged atmosphere, if you want to describe it, is in a palanquin. And we're just making the point that on normal day, especially when it's Akusidai or some festival, we see the outfits he wear. This time round, it's a completely different one. And I could see some, what do you call it?
CD.
Yeah, all over the outfit is wearing. He's got some other things on his arm, and he's also got some, what do you call it? If you look at what he's wearing in terms of the crown, I'm sure in this case, and you can see all of that manifesting. Well, we understand that we can hear former colleagues on ground now who are telling us more about what's unfolding.
And then they took their hands to greet, and then they took their rightful position behind. Your Excellencies, The way the Asantehemaa express grief, that's what is going on. It's not going to be so long. It will be fighting, it should be quiet, and it should be all walk slowly, no more. It is so long. And I'm going to show you now what you can wait of the Asante expressing